2, 1.
Hey, this is Terry Bain, and welcome to another episode of Business Growth Time. Today, we're going to be talking about building that ever-elusive funnel, especially if you're thinking about selling a product. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to have Janet E. Johnson, who is, pretty much always with me. She's done shows without me. I have yet to do a show without her.
Have you done a show without you?
That's because I am that kind of committed. Well, it was probably my fault. Hey, but you know what, Janet E. Johnson? You're trying to get away without having an E word. I don't think Ernie likes that. In fact, we're going to use Ernie as today's E word because Ernie is you all. Our audience, we've affectionately dubbed Ernie because we love Ernie. Bert was a little weird, but Ernie... straight up, man. So, Janet Ernie Johnson, how you doing?
Ernie Johnson, oh man, that name is awful. But anyway, so let's not start a thing here or anything.
That's pretty bad. Oh crap, people are going to be calling you Janet Ernie Johnson for a long time.
Oh, that's
lucky
great.
Connie bounced.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. There's Connie. Good. Well, we are doing this a different way today. So we are doing live, and we're testing Be Live. I've been using this a little bit. And I thought, Terry, we came back from the Blab world. We were one of those first people on Blab. And, since that whole, I call it almost a revolution of all these live things that we're launching all over the place, we kind of just got tired of it. And we went, all right. We're going to stick with Zoom. But now it has been something that I think should be tested still, but we've kind of blown it off for a little bit longer than we normally would have. And I think that's because of I think we've tested almost everything back in the day, but this one's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. So we decided, hey, we're going to bring this live into our group. And if it works out well, we'll continue to do it possibly too.
Well, and we had talked about maybe doing this for our 100th episode, which is coming up. The countdown is on. 9 episodes left. This is 91. To maybe bring on this and then have past guests hop in and out and join us. So we could be doing all kinds of fun stuff with Be Live.
Good.
And I think the ease with which it integrates into Facebook, especially groups, is what really kind of sold you on the idea of testing this. That's right. Ease, man. It's got to be ease. And I will not use that as an E word for you. Okay. Because I know your husband, he wouldn't.
E-words just constantly come up. Well, that's great. I have a few E's in my talking about the funnels today too. But
yay!
Good. All right. And like we said, we didn't really put this out there too much ahead of time because we're just testing it, and we thought, let's just see what happens. But we will get into the funnels, and this is something that honestly any business model could use the funnel. What is called a sales funnel, an online sales funnel is what I focus on. But I mean, even, Terry, we just did the past episode, show 90, talking about you have a funnel. I mean, on how you actually discussed your sales funnel on how to generate new leads and how to get to the potential clients that you're trying to get to. And you had 3 different methods. You had the calling.
Had the emailing, and I had the retargeting, and especially with lookalike lists, right? So lookalike audiences. So absolutely. If you don't have a funnel, you will not have much of a pipeline. And if you don't have much of a pipeline, you don't have a lot of future business. And so funnels are key, right? And just like probably one of the most important things you can create for your business. So I'm excited because you and I had a conversation recently about a product that you were looking to launch, and you were talking about how you had to create the funnel and how you had to get people to landing pages and how you had to follow up and all these different messages. And let's go through it top to bottom.
All right. Well, it's funny when you do these because I don't really have a list to follow. It's just my list is right here. So I actually wrote this down today because I'm like, my list is right here. But then as you're going through it, honestly, we should have a list, like a checklist. I believe I've had one in the past from, like, I have Amy Porterfield's webinar launch series. So and she had one, I believe, in there. But this is something, there are 3 products that you have to have if you're doing a certain launch, if you're doing a webinar one. Now, there are video launches too, and I do a lot of, and this isn't launch, it doesn't have to be a launch. It could be a funnel to an e-commerce. I'm doing a lot of that. I'm doing a funnel for a mortgage client right now, for a mortgage officer to be able to get clients. We do funnels all the time for different types of businesses. But the one that we just did actually was a webinar launch. So that you needed to have Leadpages is what we use. But there's another product called ClickFunnels.
We've talked about Leadpages in the past, but just so people know what ClickFunnels and Leadpages are, what is in 40 words or less? Yeah,
basically you can create quick landing pages. So sales pages, webinar landing pages, thank you pages, anything like that about you. It's like a one web page, and they have all the templates for it. So it's a really nice system to simplify it for you and your business. And then you need to connect it to something for emails, to collect the emails. So you need some sort of email autoresponder system. And I use Aweber typically. A lot of people use MailChimp, and then there's like the Infusionsoft and some deeper ones that are more robust too that a lot of people use. So there's numerous. ClickFunnels rocks. and I'm not a I'm a Leadpages, but I know both are very, very good. But you do need an email autoresponder to connect with too. And then a webinar system if you are doing webinars. So that could be GoToMeeting. It could be, I don't know, what are they all out there? GoToWebinar. There's so many different ones.
Join Me.
Yep. Yeah.
You probably use Zoom, actually.
Webinar Jam. Zoom actually, some people are using that for their webinar system. We have it, and I don't even know how to use it for a webinar system, but it's kind of funny. But I know you can use it for a webinar system.
Do they still have Google Hangouts? Remember that? Is that still a thing?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they call it the same thing, to be honest. Might be like YouTube Hangouts or Google. I don't know what they call it anymore, but I believe it still exists. But a lot of people have walked away from it for some, reason, because there's just been so many other things that have launched since then.
So many options.
So you need to have those minimally if you're doing webinar. Now, some people do a video launch where they do multiple videos, and then you don't necessarily have to have a webinar system. You could create a landing page, put the video on YouTube hidden, and then have a landing page built within Leadpages, and then have the video be sent out through the email, one by one by one. I just signed up for I have the belief that this is a launch for Jon Loomer, and he did a free 12 video series. And he's got some entrepreneur product. So I'm always curious at seeing how these go. But he did 12 videos, and then you get one per day for 12 days. Same methodology, but you skip the webinar system. And webinars, they still work great. For some, I do feel like the world is changing. So I'm going to be testing the next launch that I do. I think I'm going to be testing the video series versus a webinar launch. So I want to see how that goes. We
had Chris Brogan on the show probably 5 or 7, 12 episodes ago, somewhere in there. And I remember trying to get Chris on earlier when we were doing Blab, and Chris was like, no, I'm not doing Blab. Yeah. And he was anti-Blab because of the live aspect of it, So the video series makes sense to me because you instinctively feel like you can consume that at your own pace, right? That you can watch that whenever you want. Whereas a live webinar or live broadcast of whatever, right? If it's not up there and sticking around for an extended period of time where people can go watch it at their leisure, they feel compelled to jump in and watch it now. And I think we're such a time-shifted mindset with how we consume information, right? DVR or TiVo or what have you, that no one wants to do things when you want them to do it. They want to do things when they want to do it.
That's exactly it. You're exactly right. Yep. So it is a mind shift. The world is changing, and that's very important to realize. Now, I did see something about ClickFunnels, Tim, and I do want to mention this because I do know ClickFunnels is very robust and it offers all these different options. Sometimes I've been in this industry for many, many years. I had a platform at one point that I paid a lot of money for that did everything. And later in life, I dropped it and I split it all out because some things work better than others. So I don't know anything about ClickFunnels, but I mean, I know enough where I know they have a lot more than Leadpages. So if you want to have all in one, have those pieces all in one, ClickFunnels might be your answer. But if you want it separated out and you just want a couple of the pieces, then, you might want the Leadpages and an Aweber, and, pick and choose what you want. So
are you Frankensteining because you get best of each functionality, or is it you just, if I don't need 7 of these things, why am I paying for 7 of these things?
Yes. That's exactly it. And, but I also started with Leadpages, and because I've been with them as long as I have so much back content that I'm not going to clean it all out to move over.
Right.
I know some people that actually do Leadpages and ClickFunnels, which is interesting to me because they overlap, but they offer different things. So if this isn't we could do a whole call on the difference between Leadpages and ClickFunnels. And bottom line is you just need to do your research to see what's best for you.
Got it. And understand what your needs are and see how they match up. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Exactly. So now going down the path of the pieces that are needed. And the reason I wrote it is because, your head starts to spin when you go through all the different layers. So if you're doing a webinar launch, for instance, you would have to have an ad, first off, an ad copy and an email copy for your past email list to send out to bring them to a landing page, which is built by Leadpages, for them to sign up for your free webinar. So that's your first phase. So it can either be, we did a video to promote the webinar, and we also tested graphics. Which one do you think converted better?
Well, I would have said video, but because you asked, now I have to say graphics.
Video.
And I bet it was square graphic on top of it.
It was not a square graphic, it was square video.
It was
square video. That's important to know. Yeah, square video, normal graphic. Yes. So actually we tested both, and it was I kept both running because it was this close. It was this close. And so I ended up doing both. But the cool thing with video is you can always retarget the video viewers then, and you don't have that option when it's...
Ooh, so you grow your audience instantly by using video, because anybody that pays attention gets sucked into your funnel.
And if they don't sign up the first time, you can, if they don't maybe they don't sign up for the webinar the first time they see your video, but you can retarget them then with the video viewers and try to get them to sign up. Very short. We did that with Animoto, which is actually another software that you would need if you decided to do that. That is, it's just a website, but actually they create videos. So we did that with Animoto.
Animoto. Spell that.
Animoto. Okay. It creates slideshow videos. So we kind of put in, different things they would get in the webinar. And oh, sorry, I thought my battery was dying. Sorry, I saw a thing pop up, but no, don't worry about it. So now we ended up, I know. Well, I didn't want my battery to die. We always have something go wrong on these shows where somebody unplugged something.
Why you gotta make fun of me like that?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's somebody named
Terry. So we go webinar landing page. So we're starting. You could use the Animoto software. You can have a graphic designer. You can do it yourself. You need graphics. You need copy. all those pieces in order to just get started with bringing them to the landing page, which then we needed graphics on the landing page. We had to write that all out. We needed the copy, and we needed the webinar time.
When you say graphics, is it pictures of you and the other presenter? Is it pictures of what they're going to learn? Define graphics.
The landing page had a template, and then we just put our own graphic, and it was the two of us, because this was a joint venture. So it was the two of us telling them what the title of the webinar is and what they'll get out of it. So we just created one big graphic at the top. And then that is the heading of the landing page. As they scroll down, then there is the 2 times. We offer 2 webinar times, and then they can click to sign up. Takes them to fill in their name and email, and then they end up going to a thank you page after that. And then that has to talk. So Leadpages has to talk to the webinar system. Then the webinar system has to talk to the Aweber. Whatever email system that you're using.
And when you say talk, they've got to be able to share information back and forth, because let's be honest, Leadpages doesn't really talk. Kennedy Johnson.
Hey, we talked to Ernie, so
Ernie talks. Tim was talking too. That's
Exactly. So that's got to link all up. So link to the email provider, link to the webinar system. You got to make sure everything's working. But we decided on ours to add another layer. And this kind of made our life a little more complicated, but it's pretty cool. So how we did this is once they hit the thank you page, on that thank you page, you could do it one of 2 ways. I highly suggest on the thank you page, but you could also do it in the first email. We had an upsell. So now we offered a $7 upsell to a guide that we created talking, and I don't even need to say what the guide is, but it would help them lead to the webinar. So it would basically be beneficial for them, but completely separate. And it was just $7. Why did we do that? There's 2 reasons. A, we want to benefit them. And B, it's a potential way to pay back your ad dollars that you're spending. So for $7, if you got a few of those, that will pay back, those ad dollars. So now that has to be another sales page on the thank you page selling what you have. Then that needs to link to PayPal. Now you've got to get the PayPal signed up to pay for that item. Does that make sense? Are
Absolutely.
We getting this? Then that leads to...
We're going to need a whiteboard at some point, though.
Isn't that the truth?
Going to need a whiteboard.
I know. It's crazy. But then that leads to, you've got to talk to, PayPal has to talk to then know who purchased it, tell the email provider to move them maybe to another segmented list. Hey, they purchased the $7 product, but they're still signed up for the webinar. And then we have to put that download onto a website, and then it has to lead them to that download too. And you can do all this. It works. You just need to know where to put these things, how to do it. And believe it or not, I know every single piece of this. Yeah. But I've done it myself, but I also get people to help me. This last round, I think why I was so crazy is I did the majority of it. We did ourselves. And I think in the past, I haven't done every piece of it myself, where I've gotten more help with the people that work for me. But I went head first and said, let's figure it all out ourselves. What happened though, what was interesting is PayPal wasn't working. The link wasn't connecting. There were certain things that happened. And I do have to give a shout out to Joanne, because she put up with a lot of different pieces that, we had different things go down constantly. And we had a lot of interesting, even Leadpages. Her website actually went down the day we were ready to launch. Her whole entire website went down. Believe it or not.
That's crazy.
But it came back up, and you just kind of you have to laugh about it. You really do, because you count on technology so much.
Right.
That you just kind of got to go, what can you do? It's just like yesterday I had problems in Facebook Ads Manager, and I knew it was Facebook, and you just kind of got to walk away and come back, and it will come back. It will work.
Yeah, you can't fix it, right? I mean, you just have to adapt to it.
There
are things beyond your control. The key is knowing that and knowing not to beat everything up about it, because it ain't going to change.
No, exactly. So we just have to. Sounds like a what?
Sounds like a good time to go paddleboarding.
That's exactly it. Yeah. It's like, okay, go outside, go get your exercise, go do something else, walk away. Maybe you come back the next day even. Because I've seen a big difference. Even Facebook, I deal with this a lot. You know, you just got to walk away and go the next day. Hey, new people are working the next day, or maybe they figured out what that glitch was, and it will be all good. So we've got the webinar landing page. We've got the upsell. We've got it connected to the emails. We've got now webinar. The webinar system should send out email reminders, and or you send out email reminders too before leading up to the webinar, making sure to remind them. Some people have it hooked up with text messaging, which is great too. I know Leadpages does that. I'm sure ClickFunnels does too. Any of those, you know, you can get them alerted so that they remember to show up on. We want them live on the webinar if possible. And then you just got to remember you're constantly doing ads. You know, I was in charge of the ads management, obviously, with the graphics, testing different copy, testing different, you know, images all along the way until the day of the webinar. So then you have the webinar day and you go through the webinar, and then you have what we call an upsell at the end of that. With that upsell, or not, you know, it's the webinar, you can only do so much in an hour. So you're giving away free content, but this is leading to a potential deeper dive into sales so that you can really show them exactly how to do the things you talked about in the webinar in detail. So that's what we promote. And then at the end of the webinar, we talk about our special offer. That we created a sales page for with Leadpages too. So then once again, you have to have a sales page, and then you have to have that hook up and interact with. Now Joanne actually used a product called Samcart. So I talk about PayPal, but there's also a product you can purchase that's an addition called Samcart, or, you know, some sort of cart thing, or you can go directly through PayPal. But there are reasons that you might want something called Samcart, and ClickFunnels might have a sale, you know, something like that too. And then that takes you to a thank you page again, and you have to tell your email autoresponder who actually purchased to, who bought, because you want them on a separate list compared to the people that did not purchase, you know, because you might want follow-up emails. We're working on follow-up email series too for people that did not purchase also. And then you want a follow-up sequence. We actually went 5 days after the webinar to close it. So it gives people time to, you know, make that decision. And then we did a follow-up email sequence, and we did a follow-up ad copy, ad graphics, and retargeting for all of the people that attended and did not attend and our warm audience too. So that's kind of how, I mean,
is that it?
Detail. That's it.
Oh.
That's the craziness of a launch and how it can work step by step. And that's a webinar launch. Now there's video launches, and then there is, like we talked about, just the sales funnel. And sales funnels all work differently for different types of businesses. I work a lot with e-commerce right now. We do a sales funnel that starts with a video, and then we retarget that video. And then you also have to have something in place for people that leave the cart too. So there's a lot of different pieces that are in place in order to create that sales funnel. And it depends on the type of business and what it is for the strategy. Like we started out the show with, Terry has his sales funnel that he's creating, and he does it in different ways. I'm talking an online sales funnel here fully, whereas Terry's doing things offline and online too.
True facts. So Tim just mentioned that ClickFunnels actually uses Stripe. So
yep, heard of that. Mm-hmm.
That's an easy way. But yeah, making sure that you have that funnel and knowing what that is, and more importantly, how you're going to keep sticking bodies in there.
Yeah.
Without it, there's no business, right? So, you know, we talk a lot about social media on this show and have since 90 plus episodes and talk a lot about business networking. These are all just top of funnel activities, right? So getting to people to have some level of awareness of you, right? That's the top of the funnel. And then figuring out how to drive them through, whether it's through very targeted emails. We did a show a couple of years back on marketing automation with Kevin Crayson, which is a really cool way to stay in touch and in front of your people. And they're figuring out what the system knows what they're looking at, and it's giving them the right information as they are looking at it. So you have to anticipate a little bit of what your customer needs and provide it to them at the right time. That's a great show to follow back through. Mm-hmm. But yeah, telephone calls is certainly a funnel activity. And then the bottom of the funnel, right, the part everybody likes is signed agreements. Those are fun.
But it takes work to, I think one thing we were teaching Facebook and LinkedIn. So for instance, I think a lot of people they just want to get to, can't they just put an ad up and get a sale? And it's not that way. It's LinkedIn. We were talking about that too. Well, if I fix my profile, won't the leads start rolling in? Well, no, you need to build your authority. You need to create engagement. You need to engage with people. And you also need to then make sure you know your strategy, like we just talked about. You need to have the pieces in place to be able to get in front of people again. And we even talked about on the last show with yours, just the retargeting, making sure that you're getting in front of people over and over. People are so busy. I have to admit, I just bought these lash extension thingies. They're not on because I haven't got it yet. But that thing was in my news feed, video demoing it over and over. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, all right, I just have to buy this. But it wasn't the first time. So, I admit. But
do you still see the ads? Did they stop targeting you now?
They actually still target me. So you are right. They are doing that wrong. Yeah, they are doing that part wrong because they don't have in place the follow-up piece where, hey, I went add to cart, I finished it. Now you guys should retarget me with other products.
Do they have like full hair extensions? Because they could target me.
These were lash extensions.
I would maybe if I had just a million of them, it would look like, no, maybe not. Never mind.
But they had a lot of add-ons, I have to say. I went in the cart and they're like, are you sure you don't want to buy this today? Sure you don't want to buy this today? I'm like, okay. But I love seeing that kind of stuff because it makes you learn. Okay, maybe, in ours, like that $7 upsell. Whoever buys your product, you want to not forget about the upsells. And that's one thing I believe, like Stripe and Samcart, those companies, they have built-in upsells that make it really easy for you to offer other products if you have other things when they're purchasing. So you don't want to forget about the upsell too.
Don't forget about the upsell. That's actually potentially the best piece of advice that we'll ever give. Don't forget about the upsell. Would you like fries with that?
Exactly. Think about the waitresses in the corporate. Yeah, they always have to have, what dessert would you like? And they show the desserts so that you can see it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, this was just a crap ton of information. That's a technical term.
Very good language there.
Yes, thank you. Well, I cleaned it up for you.
We're live today. Yeah, that's
I only swore once in the entire 2 shows that we've recorded today.
Yes.
Never mind. I can't help but think you should make a really cool infographic that kind of talks about everything you just did. Yeah. I think that would be powerful and be a great way to drive more traffic and more shares. You put it on Pinterest and it would go, man. Yeah. That seems like a good way to go.
I think I need it for myself for my next launch, so my brain doesn't work so hard.
You're right. Yeah. Hey, I'll just follow the cheat sheet that I created. Thanks, past self.
Exactly. So yes, very good point, and I will do that.
That's awesome. What do you think what should people think about launching? How do we do this?
You mean what should people launch, or
yeah,
what?
You know, how can Ernie take advantage of the knowledge you just dropped?
Well, I think instead of just talking about just a product launch, it could be for anything. So it could be for e-commerce. It could be for selling the VR. It could be for real estate, you want to think about the entire funnel and start with the end goal and work your way backwards. So you just want to make sure that okay, obviously, you want to make a sale. But what's it going to take to get to that sale and work your way backwards? It's not one-time deal anymore. So it's about getting in front of people again, and how are you going to create that strategy? And, you need to study things. I mean, I study this day in and day out. So I know a strategy for e-commerce is going to be different than a strategy for a webinar launch. It's going to be different for a brick and mortar. They're all different. They all need to be tested. And maybe video will work better, maybe graphic, maybe Facebook ad works great. Maybe it has to be on LinkedIn, a LinkedIn ad. It doesn't always work the same for every business. So you need to study things and you need to test a strategy. And worst case scenario, you contact me and I can help you with your strategy, because, in reality, I think a lot of people don't have any idea on how to build
any idea. That's when I first we did the first big social media presentation in the Detroit area 8 or 9 years ago, and it was called the 9 Hard Fast Rules of Social Media. And number 9 was a scalpel doesn't make you a surgeon. Right? Is hire an expert, because ultimately I think about, when we go out and install this VR equipment, it's not rocket science, but it's time consuming that you could be doing other things focused on your business. Invariably, there's going to be something that goes wrong, because it happens every time we're talking about technology. It happens every time. And the likelihood that you've seen what goes wrong and know how to fix it because you already had to fix it, significantly greater than someone like me who's never done this before, right? So your time you got to put a greater value on people's time. I think people need to put a greater value on their time.
On their own time.
Is what I'm saying. Yes. Spit it out, Terry. So good.
Good one.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, Ernie, I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did.
Yes,
that was very beneficial.
For those who joined us live, it will be interesting to try this again. And, we may do it from the group. We may do it from the page. And watch for our show to come up in a few weeks. It'll be a couple months probably down the road for show 100, and we'll definitely have to reach out to some past guests and have some fun with it.
We'll have to just schedule show 100. I think maybe we should just pick a date and figure out, maybe if it's show 98, we'll still call it show.
That's the way we roll.
So, Terry, that would drive you nuts. You wouldn't be able to handle that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
That's great.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Have a good one and take action. Make sure you set up your strategy and your funnel. Have a good one.